Endorphins. They're one of our feel-good hormones, but where do they come from? Running around, moving, dancing. Exercise is one of the most well-researched ways to keep endorphins going through your system. See here, see here, see here, see here. But yes, I love running. It's so good for you, it's so healthy. Running with other people is fun, and it's so efficient at training your cardiovascular system, which is so important for so many bodily functions. A lot of people start going too fast. That's the big thing that hurts people when they run. They feel like they're dying. You could literally do a little bit of a run walk. There's this thing called Jeffing. You run a little bit, you get tired, and you're like, let me walk. And then you run a bit, and this is one of the easiest ways to get started. But anyway, let's keep it rolling, move on to the next endorphin building activity. Breath work, awareness of breath meditation, pranayama, deep breathing. Just realize how important the breath is. And nowadays our nervous systems are so overactive that we don't even realize how shallow our breath is a lot of the time. And the breathing may not be the cause, but it's a point where we can intervene. And by breathing a lot slower, by taking deeper breaths into the abdomen, you can encourage the release of endorphins. I've been reading this book, Breathe In and Breathe Out. That's actually how I got the idea for this video. They talked about how it can calm down the hypothalamic stress response. And this is something a little out of my domain, but the authors of this book are physicians. And I really believe in breathing as something that is so core to understanding how you're feeling. And by being able to voluntarily take over control of the breath, slow it down, you can help yourself feel a little bit better. On to the next endorphin building activity. Having a laugh, throwing a chuck, slapping the knee. Laughing, I don't think it takes a scientist to tell you that it feels good. Laughing is something that helps bring us together, bond with others, and just embrace the absurdity of life. And there are scientific papers that look at laughing as a protective factor for anxiety and depression, and as something that may predict positive emotions and as well resilience. But laughing is just fun. And I've been telling people a lot recently, I love having fun. And again, you don't want to get absorbed in it, you don't want to get attached to anything, but it's so nice to sometimes just realize that everything isn't that serious. You can let go a little bit and just embrace what is, and realize that things don't have to make sense all the time, and that's totally fine. Here's a clip of when I went to a comedy show a while back. This is Aaron Westbury. He's a YouTube comedian mainly, but he's getting out there and doing a lot of shows now.
Yeah, I think it was during Leon's set, or maybe Nathaniel. He was like, have y'all ever had a conversation with a comedian? And everyone was like, no, we've never talked. I think I talked to every single one of y'all on the way in. Like, what in the world?
I love a lot of stand-up comedy. That's a guilty pleasure of mine, but I would say if you're having a hard day, I know sometimes it's hard to laugh, but I like to think about life and stress. It piles up, you laugh, and it releases the pressure a little bit. It just makes you feel a little bit better. This is a huge thing to talk about when it comes to endorphins and neurochemicals, because sex is a huge source of pleasure for humans and all animals for that matter, but I don't really want to talk too much about it. This isn't something that you could force, so instead I'm just going to include a clip of me dancing. And then we're gonna move on. This whole video I've been talking about endorphins, but I'm using it kind of as a easy way to say doing activities that you enjoy. I mean, I'm not a biologist. I don't really know too much about endorphins, but the gist is that it's really important to get out and do pleasurable activities. To relate this to mental health and well-being, we're going to discuss something related to the diagnostic criteria for depression. So in depression, you either need to fulfill one of two criteria plus a constellation of others, one of them being sad or depressed mood and the other being a loss of interest in activities. And the second one, a loss of interest in activities, is known in the research field as anhedonia. So it presents in one of two ways. One of them is anticipatory anhedonia. So anticipatory anhedonia is the notion that before you partake in an activity, you feel that you won't want to do it. But when you're actually in it, you enjoy it. And the other is consumatory anhedonia, which is basically the notion that even when you're partaking in an activity, you're not enjoying it. Most people with depression present with anticipatory anhedonia, meaning that as soon as they start partaking in the activity that they're interested in, they start to feel better. We call this in the research world and the treatment world behavioral activation, doing things that you enjoy to start a cascade of positive events. Hi, this is Editing Brandon. I want to be very clear here. If someone does present with anticipatory anhedonia, that doesn't mean they also don't have consumatory. I'm not providing this as professional psychological advice. If you do need help, you're struggling with depression, please do contact a professional. This is a very contentious topic in the research field as well. There isn't clear consensus. I think the point still stands. If you have issue with motivation, sometimes the best step is to just get started. My friend in college recommended me this book called The Upward Spiral. Instead of the downward spiral where you start thinking about how things, when one thing goes wrong, everything after that goes wrong. In this book that I'll be honest, I haven't fully read, they talk about the notion that when something goes right for someone who's depressed, they can start to feed off of that. So you partake in an activity that you enjoy, that makes you feel good, your thoughts start to feel better, your motivation feels better, and from there you can kind of start to get a leg up. And I speak about depression, but this applies for everyone, regardless of whether or not you're considered clinically depressed or not. You can take ideas from behavioral activation to apply it in your life, to make yourself feel better, to make yourself think better, to make yourself kind of move toward a life that you want to live. A lot of the times people wait for motivation to start doing the things that they want, thinking that if you just wait enough time, you'll get the motivation and then you'll start acting. However, the important thing to recognize is that sometimes the motivation won't come. You have to act and then you'll start to unravel things. And action isn't always the best. Sometimes it's better to plan. Sometimes it's better to take a little bit of time to just sit on things. But a lot of the time it's better to start acting earlier rather than staying in a state of indecision, in a state of rumination, in a state of worry for too long. So if you learned anything from this video, just maybe some activities that you could do. Get out there, get moving, get breathing, get laughing, and most importantly, get fun. Thank you so much. Bye.